Hey everyone, thanks for joining us in this podcast. I'm Cassia from the Marine Fuels team, and we have an interesting topic for you guys today. We'll be looking at how the Red Sea disruptions have affected bunker prices in the key port of Singapore over the last 6 months, and more broadly speaking, developments to both Asian fuel oil cargo prices and freight rates. So I'm joined today by Asil from the oil products team. Hi Asil.
Hi, Cassia.
And Sean from the freight team. Hi Sean.
Hi, Cassia. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so this is quite an interesting collaboration since there are some overlaps in the three markets that we cover. And so hopefully our listeners will have a better understanding of the key trends and prices in our markets. I'll start off with a bit of context for our listeners. For the first half of this year, the Red Sea disruptions have been a major factor affecting vessel flows around the world. Because of security threats of Yemen's Houthi militants launching assaults on Israel-linked vessels at the south of the Suez Canal, ships have had to reroute around the Cape of Good Hope instead. And it's a long additional route around the tip of South Africa. And according to the International Bunker Industry Association, IBIA, this has added about 800,000 tons to about 1 million tons per month of global bunker demand, with Singapore absorbing about 40% of increased bunker demand created by the Red Sea disruptions. And in the first quarter of 2024, bunker demand in Singapore has risen to about 4.62 million tons per month compared to about 4.23 million tons per month in 2023. The Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore, the MPA, also saw a vessel bunching effect for container vessels since the start of 2024 because many vessels were arriving off schedule. And for us at Argus, we saw about 15 to 30 days of waiting time in January to February for bunker delivery in Singapore, but congestion seems to have eased now that we are in July. And depending on suppliers, VLSFO delivery can be quite prompt at about 2 to 4 days out, or it could also be delivered at about 5 to 8 days onwards. So in terms of pricing, we see LSMGO bunker prices were up about 0.7% in the first half of the year to 760.59 per ton delivered on board basis Singapore year on year. And average VLSFO bunker prices rose by 4% over the same period to 620.81 per ton DOB, while average HSFO bunker prices from January to June 2024 climbed 12% compared to a year ago. Strong bunker demand from vessel arrivals have played a role in lifting Singapore bunker prices. And Asil, do you see similar price movement for fuel at the cargo side because of shipping diversions?
Yes, so we see the shipping diversions have had more of an impact on HSFO cargo prices more, particularly as more of these diverted vessels consume HSFO. The diversions are mostly affecting container vessels that are generally more modern and equipped with scrubber technology. Sulfur scrubbers are popular for container ships because they typically sail long distances and are very accustomed to opting for cheaper product to exploit economies of scale. With more of the container ship fleet looking to sail around the Cape of Good Hope to reach ports east of Suez, competition to buy HSFO in ports and recoup expenditure made on scrubber installation has been high. We have seen HSFO cargo prices higher as a result, and they have trended about 12% higher during the first half of this year as compared to the same period a year ago.
Okay, I see. So the rising HSFO demand has caused fuel prices to rise this year. And how about for freight, Sean? I'm guessing freight rates in the first half of this year have increased since fuel prices make up quite a large part of freight operational costs.
Yeah, so one of the clean tanker freight routes that I cover is the 75,000 ton long-range LR2 shipments from the Mideast Gulf to Japan, which remains elevated at an average of about $54 per ton in the first half of this year, compared to an average of about $40 per ton in 2023. So the Red Sea attacks actually started in November last year, but freight rates did not react to it then, as the Houthis attacks were very niche. They were targeting either Israel-owned vessels or vessels calling at Israel ports. And some analysis has also said that the satellite tracking system which they used were very outdated, so there was not much impacts to the freight market at that time. But the attacks escalated at the start of this year and caused clean LR2 rates from the Mideast Gulf to Japan to spike to a 4-year high of about $86 per ton at the end of January because of higher demand for Mideast Gulf and Indian naphtha supply as buyers scrambled to replace delayed arbitrage supplies from the west of Suez. So previously, for context, shipments from Europe to Asia, vice versa, transited through the Suez Canal, but because of the heightened risks and escalations, vessels rerouted through the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa, which added about 2 to 4 weeks of voyage time. Clean LR2 freight rates have been volatile through the first half of this year, reaching close to the high in January a few times, but would fall whenever the OTs attacks low. So it's a bit like a cat and mouse game, I would say. They would lie low when the Navy coalitions announce their arrival, but then come out to declare another new phase of attacks after a short period of time. So just last month in June, they stepped up their attacks on ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, and one of the bulk carriers which they struck, the Tutor, was sunk. And some of their attacks even included Russian and Chinese-owned vessels. So as a result, the flows of oil in both directions through the canal declined by 36% on the month and by 71% on the year in June. So interestingly, as ships rerouted through the tip of South Africa, it may actually present some bunkering opportunities there.
Thanks, Sean. As we wrap up, let's briefly cover what are some of the near-term market developments to look forward to in each of our markets. For marine fuels, definitely one challenge that the Red Sea rerouting presents for the maritime sector is also increased carbon emissions with longer voyage time. Demand for conventional bunker fuels is here to stay in the near term, but the maritime sector will also be looking for alternative fuel options such as B24, methanol, and ammonia to meet the IMO's decarbonization goals by around 2050. This will require investment in infrastructure, crew training, and visibility on pricing, but the market is working steadily towards cleaner fuels.
I think in the near term, as the shipping fleet has done already, they will have to adapt to the disruptions, and consequently, HSFO bunker demand should remain supported for as long as the Houthis pose a threat to shipping traffic. There may be slight easing month on month as the rise in trade flows gradually eases, but on the whole, relatively bunker demand should remain firm on a year-on-year basis. We will also see more vessel diversions to other ports in Korea or Zhoushan, China for time to come, as we are slowly already beginning to see a rise in prices at HSFO bunkers at nearby ports. Zhoushan bunker prices on a delivered on board basis for HSFO has already flipped into a premium at the end of May, suggesting more vessels are actually avoiding refueling in Singapore and diverting to nearby ports instead.
So on the clean tanker freight rates side, prices should remain volatile in the short term as the Red Sea hostilities remains, but could be pressured as more dirty tankers such as VLCCs and Suezmax are cleaning up and shipping diesels from the Mideast Gulf to Europe, as VLCC rates are close to 9 months low because of OPEC cuts and weak Chinese economy. China is one of the largest crude importer, and just for context, so when clean tanker rates prices are high, dirty tankers may clean up their tanks and compete for clean cargoes to catch better markets and earnings. So overall, global ton-mile demand should be higher because of the increased voyage through the Cape of Good Hope, and that should support bunker prices.
Great. I think we've run out of time, but thank you so much, Sean and Asil. I think this is quite insightful for everyone out there listening. And if you are interested to find out more about our markets, more details are available on our Argus website and reports.